Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing well. I feel like I've got deja vu right now. This is exactly how I started my last video, so I'm really sorry for starting it in my car once again, but I just love chatting in my car to you guys. I don't know what it is, it's just something like, it just feels nicer to do than like when I'm at home. And as always, I've just pulled up to the gym. I always pull out my camera as soon as I get to the gym to speak to you guys. But I've just got to the gym for my quad session of the week. I actually haven't done like a solid quad session in like so long, like over a month. Like it's been a while. But I'm excited to get like an actual quad pump today because I haven't had one of those in a long time. I'm wearing new Honor. This is the Summer Brights. This is one of the colours in the Summer Brights collection, which is launching on the 3rd of July. This is the new Lemon Drop Yellow. I don't know if the camera is really picking it up, but it's literally like the brightest yellow ever. It's so cute. Such summer vibes. Yeah, I hope you guys are all okay. I thought for today's video that I would film like a bit of a sit down chatty video, obviously once I've shown you my session and things like that, on like my top tips on how to stay on track basically, because staying on track is something that I have struggled with recently, like over the past few months, and I'm doing some things right now at the moment, implementing them into my routine to kind of keep myself on track as much as possible after being not on track for a little while. And I thought I would share them with you today because I'm sure a lot of people were in the same position as I was, and I want to be able to help you out as much as possible in that regard. But yeah, I'm not going to do a very long chatty intro for this video. I'm honestly going to keep it nice and short and sweet. I'm going to head into the gym now and I'm going to take you guys along with me on this quad session. Okay, I'm now back from the gym and I've just put some of these joggers on from Honor. Honestly, these are the best things to ever be invented. These Raw Lounge joggers. Honestly, I have been living in them ever since I got them. They are the comfiest joggers you will ever wear. But anyway, I am absolutely starving, so I'm just about to make my dinner, and I'm making something that I actually just made for the first time yesterday and it was unreal, so I'm gonna make it again. And it's like orange, it's like sticky orange soy chicken. So good and it's so simple. I'll show you how I make it and then we can sit down, have a little bit of a chat. I'm gonna make a coffee afterwards and then we can sit down and have a chat about how to stay on track, because I know that a lot of people will appreciate the tips. So yeah, let's make some dinner because I'm so hungry. Okay, now that I've had my dinner, I just made myself a coffee and I've just sat down and we're gonna have a chat. I'm sorry if you can hear the dishwasher as well, by the way. I've just put it on and it's quite loud. But let's talk all things consistency, how to stay consistent, and my top tips that I have to stay consistent. So I made a few notes in my phone that we can discuss. I feel like I've not really done a proper video on consistency and my experience with it all and everything like that. So I thought, what a perfect time to do it. I feel like navigating consistency and things like that is quite difficult during the summer because everybody has so many plans, everyone's going on holiday, so consistency can definitely be lacking for sure in like a lot of people, which is absolutely fine. Everybody's out having fun on holidays. If you are unable to kind of stay consistent due to, you know, spending time with friends, going on holiday things, honestly just enjoy it. But if you are kind of coming back from a holiday and you want to get back on track, you're struggling to stay consistent, then this video is for you. These tips are for you. Before even going on holiday for me this year, I was just struggling with consistency in general, and I think it's genuinely just down to the fact that I did not have like a solid plan in place to help me stay consistent. I was just kind of going with the flow, and although that might work for some people, I feel like I just work better when I have a set plan, I have set goals. It just kind of puts me in the mindset that I want to work towards something, which in turn helps me stay consistent. So my first tip on how to stay consistent would be to try goal setting. Just maybe sit down with a pen and paper and just sit down and write all the goals that you want to achieve in the kind of short term, like in the next few months, whether that be physical goals like about your appearance, or whether it be kind of like mental and emotional goals, or it could honestly, it could be anything, financial goals, relationship goals, any of those. Just try and sit and write them down so that you've got a clear vision on paper of what you want to achieve. I feel like that helps me just like kind of seeing everything written down, what I want to achieve, because sometimes you can get a little bit like blurred vision and kind of just forget where you're headed, like forget your why. Things can just get a little bit blurred sometimes, and I find that having it written down solidly to be able to come back to is really helpful, and that just in turn gives me a little bit of motivation to just keep going and to stay consistent. My next tip would be to stick to a workout plan and like to plan your workouts before you go to the gym. Honestly, I throughout most of this year have just been like going into the gym blind, just doing absolutely whatever, and I feel like it's just made my head feel very all over the place, and I've not felt like I've not felt locked in the gym. Whereas like if I'm going prepared with my workout, I don't have to worry about planning things whilst I'm there and worrying about what to do. That just helps me just zone in, you know prior to getting there what you're doing. And I think it's easy to fall off track and lose consistency when you're just going into the gym blindly with no plan, for obvious reasons. Obviously it's just going to make you feel a bit messy all over the place, and having structure within your workouts and everything throughout the week makes it a lot easier to stay consistent because you know what's coming. Following on from that, I would also recommend planning your weeks as well. This doesn't just have to be within the gym. Obviously you can plan your workouts for the week, but I also mean things like meal prepping. If meal prepping works for you and your lifestyle, do that. Do food shops to plan your meals for the week. Plan your week with regards to your work as well, and just see where you can fit things round, whether that be, you know, time with friends and everything, the plans that you are doing. Do you know what? I actually got a calendar for the first time last year, so I got one for 2024, and it's actually been the best thing ever. I usually just have things like in my reminders on my phone, but it's obviously not set out clearly like on each day like a calendar is, that you can just look at and it's just everything is right there for the month. Honestly, that has helped me stay consistent and helps me just know what I'm doing weekly. Like I know what's coming up, and again my mind is not all over the place like wondering what I'm doing this week and like having to kind of rush things last minute and stuff. So planning things weekly and even monthly helps me a lot to stay consistent, because you can prepare for it then. You can prepare for things physically and mentally as well. My next one would be to make sure that the goals that you are setting yourself are sustainable and that they fit in with your lifestyle and that they work with your routine. I feel like it's all well and good looking at somebody else's routine and, you know, seeing that they wake up at this time, they go to bed at this time, and they do this throughout the day. But if your lifestyle and your job and everything that you do does not fit into that, and you couldn't possibly do what that other person is doing, but you're trying to copy that person's routine, it's just not going to work for you, and it's going to be unsustainable. It's going to be much easier for you to be less consistent and to fall off track. For example, comparing yourself to a full-time influencer who works from home all the time, has their own set hours, like me for example. I feel like somebody with a 9-to-5 job in an office couldn't compare my routine to theirs, for example. That's just an example that came off the top of my head. Like, I am very lucky to be able to kind of go to the gym at like 11 a.m. for example, 12 p.m. and do a little bit of work before, whereas a lot of people realistically do not have the luxury to be able to, you know, just go to the gym in the middle of the day. So maybe getting up a little bit earlier and going to the gym before work will work for you better, or going after at 5 p.m. This is why it's important to plan out your days as well, so that everything is clear and concise throughout the day and it works with you and your routine. If not, it's just going to be so unsustainable. You're not going to be able to stick to it, and it can make you feel bad mentally not being able to stick to that plan that you've set for yourself. I have been there before. I've done that, and trust me, you will just fall off if you're just trying to copy somebody else's routine who, as I said, has a completely different lifestyle to you. Now, this next tip, this next point is going to sound so self-explanatory, but do things that you actually enjoy. So whether that be your workouts, the things that you do in your daily life, like your job, everything in general, just try and do things that you enjoy. For example, if you are just doing bodybuilding training because you've seen somebody else do it but you absolutely hate it, don't do that. Do whatever movement that you enjoy, because again, it leads back to the point of being unsustainable. And if you are hating whatever you are doing, you're obviously more likely to fall off track. You're more likely to be less consistent because you don't want to show up for the thing that you've set yourself to do. Whereas if it's something that you genuinely enjoy, it's going to be easy to show up for yourself. You're not going to need to absolutely drag yourself there every single day. And this is something that I have definitely learned in the 6 months of this year. Life's too short to not do things that you enjoy. Literally live on a floating rock, which is what I always tell myself. So this obviously applies to the gym, but it can apply to literally every aspect of your life, in the sense of just doing things that you enjoy and that make you happy. My next tip would be to list out habits that you know will make you feel good and stay on track. So, does setting your gym clothes out the night before, for example, help you? Does getting into bed at 8 p.m. every night help you? Does waking up at maybe 5 a.m. help you on a daily basis? Everybody's habits that they like and they know that they can stick to is going to be different person to person. Like, does meal prepping work for you? Does that help you in your daily life? Because personally for me, I feel like meal prepping doesn't really work for me. I've tried it before, and I used to absolutely love meal prepping when I had a 9-to-5 job, but now that I am able to work from home, meal prepping just doesn't work for me, because I'm very lucky to be able to say that I can, you know, cook my dinner every day at home. So meal prepping isn't really the best option for me, I have found, but it might work for you if you have to take your lunch into an office. That could be very handy for someone in that situation. Meal prepping on a Sunday, is that a habit that will help set you up for the week? You know, like cleaning your house on a Sunday, that personally helps me. That's a habit that I like to try and do every single week to make me feel ready and fresh for a new week. So again, if you got your pen and paper out, list out some habits that you know you will stick to, like you personally. This is just about you watching this right now. It's about you personally, not what anybody else is doing, not what works for somebody else, but what you know will work for you. And you know, maybe some things that have worked for you in the past and you've maybe fallen off with them a little bit, try and get back on the bandwagon again. Now this next tip, any excuse for me to talk about this, but buy a new gym set, or I don't know, some new trainers or something, or some new pre-workout, something like that, to just maybe give you that little spurt of motivation. It could honestly be like the littlest thing. It doesn't have to be anything, you know, really big and expensive. It could just be, I don't know, some new wrist straps. Like, I feel like anything new for the gym just like makes me just want to go a little bit more. Like, I bought some new trainers a couple of weeks back, and that has just, like, it's just so weird, isn't it, how like just buying something new can make you want to go to the gym even more. It sounds silly, because obviously don't buy something every single time you lose motivation, because that's just silly. But if you've maybe not bought yourself a gym set in a while, maybe just treat yourself, or as I said, some nice new trainers if yours are absolutely beat up. I feel like that could definitely give you some motivation. But yeah, the new Honor Active colours are launching in a few days. If you want in some motivation, especially for summer, these are sure to brighten up your days and lift your mood, because that's definitely why I've been wearing them. And then this last point that I'm going to talk about is actually really important. Now, all men, if any men are watching this, you can just switch off because this is about women. But make sure that you are cycle syncing. Okay, so I always used to think that this was like pointless, like not for me, you don't need to do this. It's just, you know, I don't have like PCOS, for example, I don't need to cycle track. Like that's how I used to think, when that's literally not the case. I think every single woman can benefit from tracking their cycle and cycle syncing. So I currently track my cycle on Natural Cycles through my Oura Ring, which I would highly recommend, by the way. But my consistency, as I'm sure all of us girls will agree with me, my consistency is different throughout the entire month. So like some weeks I'm really excited to train, I'm really on it, and like, you know, I'm ready to get out of bed. And then some days I actually couldn't think of anything worse than getting out of bed, getting ready for the gym and going to the gym. It's honestly different every single day at this point. And as a woman, more often than not, that is due to your cycle. That is down to where you are at in your cycle and the different phases that you are in monthly. So for example, the week before your period, most women tend to feel more down in this stage. You feel more low energy. You're less likely to want to go to the gym and do like high impact activity. And this is called your luteal phase. I'm not going to obviously talk about all of them because even I am not like really knowledgeable on it. I just know like the basics. But for example, the week before your period, most girls' motivation is very low. If you know, then you know. But I feel like that can get a lot of girls down if they don't track their cycle, because they don't really know why they feel like that. You know, like that entire week and few days before your period, it can really get you down if you're not sure why you feel like that, you're not sure what the reason is basically, and then the next day you'll be fine. And obviously that can definitely affect consistency. I'm definitely less consistent, I think, in the week before my period, which I think is very natural. Like it's very normal to just not really want to do as much as you would normally do in that week, and then you could be full of energy wanting to get up and all this in your follicular phase, which is like a couple of weeks after your period, I believe. So yeah, it just kind of gives me a little bit of peace of mind when I'm like feeling a little bit down and my consistency is literally shit. If I check where I'm at in my cycle and I'm like, oh okay, that is why. And obviously it's not going to change anything, you can't change where you're at in your cycle, but it just gives you a little bit of peace of mind, and it just confirms in your mind that it's not just you, and it's just something that you just have to go through, you know, and you can just give yourself a little bit more grace and maybe opt for a lower impact activity and not put so much strain on your body throughout that movement. But saying that as well, every single woman is different in different stages of their cycle. So some women in their luteal phase and some other women in their luteal phase will be really wanting to go to the gym. They can still train as they do all the time. They can just train the exact same. And some women will just be so much weaker, don't want to lift weights, blah blah blah. It's completely down to the woman. So all I will just say with this is listen to your body. If, you know, really heavy weights and stuff is feeling like a bad idea to you at that time, do something else, do a different form of movement, and just, yeah, listen. Long story short, listen to your body at different times in your cycle. But I would highly recommend getting something to track your cycle. I highly recommend Natural Cycles. I've used that for a year and a half now, and I really recommend it. This is not like a partnership or anything, I just actually recommend Natural Cycles. But yeah, I just think it is important for women, especially like as I get older, I realise how important it is to be in tune with your body, and I feel like knowledge is power with that sort of thing, and you can just listen to how you feel and how you're reacting to the different stages. But I'm pretty sure that is all of my tips on how to stay consistent. These are just things that have worked for me, especially over this past 6 months, and things that I try and implement into my life daily and weekly to help me stay on track, whether that be in the gym, with my work, just with everything. It helps me just stay consistent. I think sometimes it's so easy to just fall off track, and these things just really help me to just keep that tunnel vision and just keep going. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the workout this morning as well. As I said, it was a quad workout and I haven't done one in a while. It was actually a very solid workout. I was really happy with it. But yeah, I think sometimes just sit down talking videos can be a little bit boring, so I wanted to implement a couple of other bits into it as well. Let me know what you do on a weekly or daily basis to help you stay consistent as well, because you never know, there could be so many more tips I've missed off, and we can help each other out in the comments. But I hope you guys are having a good Sunday, and I will see you in next week's video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.